It's Wednesday, September 9th, 2015. I'm Rym.
I'm the Scott.
And this is the Geeknights. We're back from PAX, and we're talking about One Punch Man.
Let's do this.
We missed a lot of shows, and we're going to miss a bunch more, because I'm going to be in Singapore and Australia for, the next 3 weeks.
There was a PAX, was a week early this year.
Yep.
Right? And then there's a Labor Day because PAX wasn't on Labor Day as usual. So
and we celebrate Labor Day by not laboring.
Mm-hmm,
so we didn't do any Geek Nights.
No, why would I do that when I could lay in the park and dick around, right?
I ran in a race, though, and among the old men category, I was the second fastest old man.
Second fastest old man?
Yeah.
Who was the faster old man than you?
The faster old man beat me by 2 minutes, so there was no chance.
Who was this old man?
So the funny thing is, because they break it down by basically 10-year age groups once you get into your 20s. And what gives me hope is that the top 3 times for these 5K and 10K races for old men, not that much worse than the times for younger men. So I feel like
yours was 2 minutes. How many younger men beat you?
I was 6th overall among everyone. Even
how many people were in this thing? 7?
380.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only people who beat me were 20-somethings and 130-something who have hot bods and actually train. Emily did really well too. We're both pretty fast.
But did you get some sort of medal?
So, yes, I got a trophy. It's made out of lucite, and it's in the other room. I also have this trophy from last time. So, I went, I don't run races that often, maybe once a year. And I kind of wanted to win this one, at least among the, old man 30s age group. Mm-hmm. So, I ran real hard, and my time was, 19:59, almost exactly 20 minutes.
Were you
So, I ran hard, and so at the end...
Could you have run harder?
I don't think so, actually. I think I ran as hard as I could have run on that day. Mm-hmm. But I ran over the finish line, walked over to some bushes, and immediately vomited into those bushes.
You suck.
Which, that happens if you push too hard, especially in a foot race. That's just something that happens. Marathon runners shit themselves.
You also have a blarging problem.
My body's
Mr.
go-to.
Bargle.
My body, if there's a conference inside of my body, hey, something's going on, man, what should we do about it? There's some Tanaka in the background.
Also, if you do something that
makes
makes you bargle, that's a sign you shouldn't do that thing.
Yeah, but running, I'll live longer if I run.
Not if you bargle.
I maybe shouldn't push that hard without training
Not
that
if you
much.
Bargle your body out.
Might have been the Red Bull I chugged before the race, too.
What? I think that's cheating. They didn't test for that Red Bull?
But, so I walk
What next?
So I run over the finish line. I walk over to the bushes. I just vomit. And then I turn around and I'm feeling good, I'm smiling. And there's a kid standing right there. And he's looking at me and he looks up at me because he just saw me projectile vomit into some bushes and just goes, wow. Pretty much that made my day.
Okay, maybe you should just next time you see a kid, stick your finger down your throat and bargle.
Vomiting is actually pretty funny.
You can do all the vomiting.
If someone else is doing it,
I'm doing
nowhere near me, and I can't smell it.
I am not doing any vomiting. I read something recently that there might be disease transmission from vomit particles in the air.
I could easily believe that.
So I'm gonna avoid vomit.
I read a similar article talking about how air dryers in public bathrooms are just spreading pee and fecal coliform all over.
Well, at least they're not on my hands. Spread it all over the ground.
Get in the lungs and other people's hands.
Yeah, blast it off of my hands onto the wall.
So, we're pretty much back for a little while, and then I'll disappear to Australia for a while. And as long as I don't die mountain biking in Singapore or mountain biking in
Poison
Australia.
snake. Poison spider.
Actually, I was reading about this place. It's this semi-abandoned island.
So even more poison snakes.
No, snakes are not a problem there. The problem is very poisonous lizards.
It's close enough. Not snakes, other poisonous lizards.
The website was if a lizard is blocking the bike path, do not antagonize it. Just choose another path, and it'll eventually go somewhere else.
How big is this lizard that you can't just bike over it?
I don't know.
Or bike really fast it?
I guess I'll find out. So I'm going to go to this island on Saturday because while I'm there...
Saturday's the no lizard day? As the day the lizard's taking a day off from poisoning people.
Well, Thursday I got to go
death?
to a convention and give a
How many people have died from lizard on this island?
Not many, as far as I can tell. The island's pretty safe.
How many people have gone to hospital due to lizard on this island?
I think more people have gone to hospital from the mountain biking part than the lizard part.
Well, what if you get a double whammy? You fall off the mountain bike.
And then a
There's
lizard
a lizard. There he is.
Well,
That's what would happen in any comedy movie ever.
that is one thing, at least with skiing, that while I am not as good as skier, I
Yes,
don't
if
think
you fall off ski,
there
will
aren't that
only,
many poisonous lizards.
There will just be a polar bear there and a yeti.
No, not a polar bear, but probably a grizzly bear.
I mean, the yeti comes 100% of the time, every time.
But if you never
no matter
stop,
what, if you ski long enough, the yeti will come.
but if you never stop and never slow down and never fuck up, he won't actually catch you.
Bumbles bounce, yo.
So yeah, you got any news or a geek bite perhaps now that we're back and we're talking about anime, manga, comics, and the like?
Well, there isn't a lot of comics news lately, probably because the New York Comic Con is like in a few weeks.
Oh, right.
But there is some sort of comics news. It's just releases, but there's some very important releases of things right now. It is currently Wednesday. You're probably listening to this on at least Thursday. That is Wednesday, September
I know
9th.
who listens the night we put these things up because of who posts in the forum and tweets at me about stuff.
There must be at least more people who are lurking and do that. But yeah, what's wrong with you? Anyway, today in the comic book store, there are comics on the shelf that were not there yesterday. Unless you have a comic book store that puts things up early, but they definitely weren't there Monday. And those things are as follows. Saga Volume 5.
Oh, yeah, I'm behind on Saga.
Which, if you read the trade paperbacks, that's new to you. If you read the individual issues, you've read these already, obviously. And also, Descender number 1, well, Volume 1, which, same deal. Descender is, oh my God, it's by Jeff Lemire, one of our favorite people.
Jeff Lemire is definitely up there.
Yeah.
Jason and the like.
It's about this kid who's a robot in space. What else do you need to know? The art, OMG. So go to the comic book store if you didn't go there already. Oh, and not there yet, but you can pre-order it now. The subject of this episode, the man who punches only one time per bad guy. The One Punch Man.
He might kick a few times. Shove more than once.
He
on
pretty
many
much
occasions.
just punches people once and that's it. That manga, which has been only available by Scanlation in the US, is going to be legally available in a month or two.
Legal.
Yes, you can buy it at the store instead of reading it online, and you can pre-order that now. I think they're putting out 2 volumes in 1 month. So it's going to be one of those deals where it's like, if you think, oh man, but I read a whole bunch of the manga online and then stopped when they were fighting a fishman. That seems to be usually when I stop reading a Shonen Jump manga.
Except for Slayers, that's when you start.
But if they're
reading.
putting out 2 volumes a month, they're going to catch right the hell up to Japan, and we're going to be good to go. So, you can just stop reading the illegal stuff now. You'll get a much better translation printing in the legit ones.
All right. So I noticed kind of randomly, I was poking around on YouTube, that a ton of those old late 80s and 90s OAVs that were mostly they were on the Sci-Fi Channel just occasionally with those Streamline dubs, they're pretty much all on YouTube, just the whole movies in super high quality.
Yeah, I mean, anything that is, was subtitled at some point but isn't popular and no one's going to go checking on the license or anything is totally on YouTube.
So
you'd also be surprised how much stuff is legally on YouTube. There's a Gundam Info YouTube channel that has so many legal Gundams on it that you can watch.
So I watched some Vampire Hunter D, all right, that thing, and I was reminiscing over those Streamline dubs of all these things. And then I clicked on 8 Men After, hey, Emily, check this out, 8 Men After, and it's RoboCop, but
why do you have time to watch this?
It's not long.
Okay.
So we start watching it a little bit, oh, okay, right, old OAVs, and we make fun of it. And then instead of turning it off, we kind of just kept watching it because I kind of miss those old dumb 90s OAVs.
If you didn't have nostalgia for it, though, would it be any good at all?
You know what? It holds up way better than I would have expected.
Well, it's not He-Man.
It's, other than the fact that the girl keeps wearing that Band-Aid on her head, and she seems pretty dumb, and she keeps saying the same thing over again, and also the Streamline dub being a Streamline dub, it was good enough and engaging enough to where we kind of just kept watching it.
But you got to remember, right? These animes that, were on the 90s, we were watching them as teenagers or whatever, right?
Yep.
The old guys of anime who we see at the anime con sometimes, who are way older than us, 50s, 60s, they were our age, or they were adults when those things were on Sci-Fi Channel in the 90s, and they were watching them, enjoying them.
Yeah.
So
And I think I enjoy
that
them at about
age
the same
now.
level. Yeah.
It's not like He-Man where we only watched it when we were 3 years old, and that's why we liked it.
Well, you know what it is? It's that these OAVs, they have alternatingly great and terrible animation. And there's just this certain, like, they have to finish their whole story quickly, so they're kind of like a movie, but they're usually based on things that would have been or were a manga or a TV show. So they have to kind of compress the action together. I don't know. I might do a show on 8 Man After if I can get Scott to watch it. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Do you know what it's about?
The 8th man.
Do you know who the 8th man is?
Not the 7th man.
Tobor, the 8th man.
Oh, right, Tobor.
Yeah.
It's an acronym of robot.
Yo, Arucardo.
Yes. And he's some sort of hero. He fights bad guys, punches them,
So
shoots
yeah,
them with robot powers.
8 Man After is an OAV movie that's basically, it takes place long after 8 Man's death. And I'm not going to say it's particularly good. I'm not going to hold it out on any anime that like everyone must see. It's better than you might think. It's a pretty much straight up RoboCop story with some roided up cyborgs playing American football.
Oh, yeah. Is MD Geist among them? He knows how to play American football.
That would be the mashup I would do, like my thing of the day. But the other thing I've been watching with Emily is Bojack Horseman, that animated show with the guy with the horse head that you see everywhere on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix anymore, but I saw this because people said it, so I Googled it, and I saw a horseman. And the first thing I thought was, well, all those people wearing a horse mask are now cosplaying something specific and not just a horse mask.
They're only cosplaying Bojack Horseman if the rest of their body looks like a frumpy 50-year-old.
Yes.
So, Bojack, I saw ads for it because, and I normally
Who
don't
came
see
up with
ads.
this thing?
So I normally don't really notice ads. However, when I was biking home every day early in the summer, they had hired an entire brick wall along that bike path, and it was a picture of Bojack.
Oh, that brick? I know the brick wall you're talking about,
Yeah.
where they always put like really high resolution advertisements painted on.
Yep. So one day I was biking home, and there's a horse head.
I always wonder how they do that. I'd like to be there when they put that.
They're doing one right now. You know how they do it?
They print it out, they stick it up against the wall and hit it with a
No.
flamethrower?
There's literally 7 people just like sitting around on a giant scaffold, just painting it by hand.
Really?
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah, like I stopped and watched them for a little bit. If they're still there later in the week, maybe I'll stop.
What are they painting now?
Looks like a sports ball thing.
Oh, okay.
But I might stop and give them a card.
Tis the season.
It'd be interesting to interview someone like that. So you paint ads by hand.
Yeah,
on
I get
brick
paid
walls.
a fuck ton of money. You can't do this.
We do a joint show. We also get our friend, the chalk artist.
Now, see, I wonder, the people who own the building that's getting painted on, how much are they making?
Yeah. Should we buy a building just to be in one of those places?
You mean like the thing in the middle of Times Square that's basically an empty building?
Yeah.
Like, just to hang
Just
ads
like
on
that,
it?
actually.
It has like a Walgreens in the bottom and that's it?
We buy a building. It's actually our banana stand, but on the outside, we make money by selling ads on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the ad was a reverse centaur, basically, laying on its back in a sexy George Costanza-style pose, and it just said, "Hey there." And I remember I biked past it, and I actually stopped, went back and took a picture of it, and tweeted it at Adam, just kind of randomly,
Okay.
because I was kind of taken aback by it. Only relatively recently did I actually go see what the hell that thing was and watch it. And you know what? If you haven't watched it, it's not what you'd expect it to be.
Isn't it just one of those Adult Swim shows, right?
It doesn't act, feel, sound. It is in no way like those shows.
But
Those shows.
the picture looks like that.
Yeah, I expected it to be that kind of humor.
Is it on Adult Swim?
It's just on Netflix.
Oh, it's a Netflix only?
It is a Netflix original.
Oh.
But the deal is that
Is that the first animated Netflix original?
I don't know. I actually really don't know.
Are
now
the
that I'm
other
trying
ones
to think
all
back.
live action?
All the ones I liked and watched were live action. It might be.
Okay.
It's an American animated sitcom, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't say here in a trivial reading of Wikipedia. But anyway, the show is actually a pretty, hard to watch, brutal human drama that just happens to be animated and just happens to have about half the characters have horse heads and owl heads and things.
Ooh, owl heads.
Yeah, they're actually, the owl girl, Wanda, is pretty much the best character.
I like owls.
You would really like this character.
Ooh.
I got to show you Wanda.
Okay.
The thing about Wanda, well, I'm not going to say anything about the show. That's not Wanda.
None of those are the Wanda you're talking about because none of them are owls.
There you go. There's Wanda.
Oh, she's pretty good.
Yeah. So the show's about a washed-up actor and how fucked up he is and how fucked up his life is. And about 10% of the show is also jokes about the fact that half the people are animals.
Okay.
Like Bojack gets kind of messed up if he eats too much cotton candy. Like give a real horse cotton candy and they'll flip out.
Shouldn't a real horse not eat cotton candy?
Yeah, real horses should not eat cotton candy. But
I mean, animals shouldn't eat sugar in general. Humans get a good idea.
let me just say, if a real horse gets near a cotton candy machine, there's going to be some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about like a 90s TV star who's now rich and washed up. And it's just this really depressing and real human drama. And I really like it, like more than I expected, to the point that I'm pretty much marathoning it as fast as I can.
All right.
I already got a second season. I mean, I don't know if you'd like it, but if you don't like it, Scott, it won't be because it's like Archer or all those other kind of shows we like. It's going to be a different kind of not liking from any not liking that you've had up to this
Well, it
point.
can go to the bottom of the queue somewhere.
You should watch a few episodes at some point. I wouldn't put it at the top of the queue, though.
It's not. I mean, the queue's getting pretty deep.
If you're not Scott Rubin, however, watch some Bojack. The only caveat is that it might be a little too real for you, and it might be a little too close to home.
Yes, the owl girl is too close to home.
But anyway, things of the day. Someone made this, the Antonio Maria da Silva M's Films YouTube account. It got like 5 million, 10 million more views or whatever since when I first found it. But
It only has 3 million total views, not even.
yeah, it seems like it's posted on a bunch of other YouTube channels now. So I'm trying to figure out who originally made it. But it's an amazing compositing mashup of like
Every
50
every movie ever?
yeah, like 50 different movies and characters from them all in the same nightclub. And you pretty much just have to watch it. It's like 10 minutes long. It's kind of insane that someone made this.
Someone really had nothing to do.
I mean,
Or was really, really, really good with video
the
editing.
characters range from
Well, both.
from Star Wars Episode 1 to multiple Tom Cruises from different movies to Al Pacino to Blade to Arnold from Terminator 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's Scarface is in there. In fact, Scarface is a major character in the plot that unfolds.
There's a plot?
Yeah, actually.
Okay, I couldn't tell if there was a plot. I thought
There
it was
is a
just
plot.
a mashup for the sake of
A
mashing up.
gunfight breaks out and shit goes down.
All right.
You just have to watch this thing.
Okay. So it might have been a thing of the day previously, the Senpai Club. So if you don't know, if you didn't pay attention the last time, it was probably a thing of
Scott's
the
a
day.
big fan of Senpai Club.
There's this people. I think it's like this couple. I think they're a couple.
Oh, here's the picture that was on the ad of
Okay.
Bojack.
Great.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
Anyway,
And they make just cute anime for YouTube that in their spare time. I assume it doesn't seem like they're getting paid for it. And their studio is named Make Babies, makebabby.es. Right? You get it? The spelling. Okay. And they make the thing they're currently making is called Senpai Club, which is like the best. And it's pretty much like this parody of anime in general, like school anime, and it like making fun of the girl running to school with toast in her mouth.
yeah, or like the
and-
triangle-headed Bishonen.
Right, exactly. So the latest episode, however, part 1 of episode 3, the opener is like in the old school anime 70s, 80s anime style. And they put a lot of work into it, and it's incredible. So you need to see it if you haven't been paying attention.
It's one of the better anime.
Even more. Even if you don't want to watch all of Senpai Club, if you know anything about anime and old anime, just watch this. Start of episode 3, part 1.
You do have to know a little bit about anime. If you haven't seen a lot of anime, you probably...
It's a parody of anime. If you don't know anime, what sense will it make?
It's like trying to watch Excel Saga if you've never seen anime.
Yeah.
In the meta moment, the book club book was The Wheel of Time Book 1, a fantasy book, the novel.
But we're gonna do episode on it like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, it'll go up who knows when.
We're going to try to put up episodes while I'm overseas.
We finished reading it. We're going to record as many episodes as we can before Rym gets on a plane, and that will be one of the episodes we record before Rym goes on a plane.
The only things I have to say about it ahead of time is that I'd recommend reading it if you've never read it.
If you like fantasy novel, this is fantasy novel.
It is so fantasy novel. It is a series of Chekhov's swords that then fire within a few chapters. And there's a few more Chekhov swords that have not fired yet, but you can look
and then there are 8 more books, none of which were written by Chekhov.
They're not the best books in the world, but I will say this. I'm about halfway through the second book now.
3/4 of the way through the third book.
I bought the third book.
For really big books, they don't really go by very slowly at all.
I bought the third book. I'll probably read it on my travel, and we'll see what happens.
The Kindle versions are just as the same price as the paperback versions. Of course, you could go RMAT, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
But they're DRM-free Kindle books, so whatever.
Yeah.
If it was DRM'd, I probably wouldn't buy the Kindle version, but Amazon points.
And we were at the Penny Arcade Expo. Videos and things will come. In the meantime, I burned through some of the queues, so I uploaded a video we made at PAX South in San Antonio when Scott and I had some time to kill. We were bored, and we were already all rigged up with our equipment to go through the expo hall.
It came out worse than I remember, but also better than I remember.
You know what? The worse actually made it better. It was like this good mix of us laughing at our own jokes and attempting to put this thing together. But you know what? The concept was sound. And I think what says it all is that I actually laughed when I was watching it while I was trying to edit this thing together.
Okay. I didn't.
I did.
Okay.
This was all Scott's idea, just saying.
We had nothing to do.
We could have played games.
We did. We played as many games as we possibly could play.
Yeah. And we're going to be at MagFest, but if you didn't get your hotel for MagFest, we warned you. You're fucked now.
Wait, I didn't get a hotel for MagFest.
I think I assume you're in with us and Phil and everybody in GA.
Oh, okay.
I'll double check to make sure. I said we were all in. If not, you're fucked.
Oh, well.
And we're going.
Okay.
MagFest is now going to be just as hard to go to as PAX East, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we're previewing this because we only got to see one episode that had blatantly incorrect
Okay, hold on. So
made-up subtitles.
Right. So
I'm getting the disclaimer out now. Do not watch it until it comes out legit. If you watch it early...
This anime is coming out early October. It's
like
highly
October
anticipated.
4th.
There are many trailers and teasers on YouTube and such that you can watch. But they streamed the first episode on Nico Nico Live as like a preview. So, of course, people captured that and poorly subtitled it, and it's low res.
Yeah, we're watching, and Emily just started translating because the subtitles were...
Emily's like, that subtitle's wrong, and it was super wrong.
Like, at one point, a guy's like, it will make you the strongest in the world. Emily's like...
He said that it tastes like strawberry drink.
Yep.
It's like, oh,
There's
it's
one
not
point
even close.
where the subtitle just says IDK because the guy whoever did it couldn't actually translate.
Right, so it's going to be on a legal streaming site, I'm sure, because it's super licensed. You know, it's going to be a big hit. But this is the One Punch Man. So One Punch Man was getting so much talk on Anna Twitter that I had to check it out. And I read a whole bunch of the manga maybe about a year ago.
So, Scott, what is One Punch Man about?
So there's this guy. And he was just like a totally normal dude.
And then he got bit by a radioactive spider or something?
No.
All right.
And he couldn't get a job. And he, was sort of dismayed with life and whatever. So he said, you know what? I'm just going to be a hero for fun. So he decides to become a hero. And to train to be a hero, every day, he does 100 push-ups. Every day. 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups and 100 squats. And he runs 10K every single day.
I could do that if I didn't have a job.
Yeah, he didn't have a job, so he did
So
that
if I quit my
single
job
day.
and do that, can I kill anyone in one punch?
He trained so hard that all his hair fell out and his head became super shiny.
Deal breaker.
And he became so powerful that any bad guy he punches goes down in one punch. His one punch is so ridiculously strong
Now that
he is now One Punch Man.
Now that there is an animated television series of One Punch Man.
I mean, it was already popular. Now it's going to be double popular with everyone. You're going to see, I saw maybe one cosplay of it in the past year or two. You're going to see so many Punch Mans.
I have to redact/update a bunch of panels and lectures we've done for the past decade because for a long time I have said, and so has Scott, that the greatest punch in the history of anime is Big O.
No, the One Punch Man is pretty much taken over. I mean, it combines pretty much the best elements. This is sort of like the be-all, end-all of anime, right? You have the ridiculous...
Wasn't that Kill La Kill?
Okay, you have the... Well, no, Kill la Kill saved anime. It's already been saved, which is why One Punch Man can exist, right? In the saved anime universe. It has the ridiculousness and action scenes of the Kill La Kill, right? It has the crazy visual stylings and random crazy characters of a Space Dandy kind of situation.
Well,
right?
it's directed by the person who directed Space Dandy.
How about that?
Huh.
It brings in the punch and the epicness of violence of, say, a Big O
It
or
also
a Fist of
brings
the
in-
North Star.
Yeah, well, it brings in not just the epic violence and the punch, but the viscera and gore of the 90s.
Right.
I mean, dude pulls an entire crab out of his body by the eyeball.
And then it brings in the shonenness of the Dragon Ball, right? All together into this one, like, the be-all, end-all singularity of shonen action manga anime that ever must exist. There's no reason to make any more, right? It's like One Piece, all right? It's got the One Piece in there, too,
Yep.
right? You know,
It's Madhouse. The opening theme is Jam Project.
yeah,
It's a who's who in a lot of ways.
it is the shonen anime of all time. And its own first episode is even, like, half out yet.
This is the kind of anime that way back when I was going to anime cons when I was younger, and I'd actually be like, oh my God, there's a new anime. I'm going to watch the screening. This is the kind of thing that I expect to see at an anime con with the screening, and a whole bunch of people go to see it, and a bunch of cosplay,
Right.
people getting really into it. Bald guys, your day has come.
So I've read the manga, so I know some things that weren't in the first episode the Rym doesn't know. For example, there's a sidekick, and
Why would you kick?
no, there's a character who's a sidekick who's awesome. He's like a cyborg, and he's like actually knows about being a hero. And there's like an organization that like manages all heroes on Earth, and like the heroes have different grades and levels. So like they're trying to level up to be higher grade heroes, to get more monies or whatever. And there's this whole like structure that gets involved and stuff. But really, you just want to see him punch something one time. Right.
The opening song's name is Set Fire to the Furious Fist.
I think it's already on fire. But it combines. It's so. It's like Kenshiro knows that when he punches someone, they're going to explode, right?
But he punches him like 100 times.
Right, and so does One Punch Man. But One Punch Man is sort of like, punch. Whatever.
He also doesn't wait. Kenshiro will sort of wait and like fight his way through a bunch of minions. This guy's like just straight to the boss, punch him.
His name is Saitama, and it's like he only like he wants to save the world. He doesn't want the world to die, but he doesn't like care too much. Whereas Kenshiro will be like, use these 10 seconds to think about your sins. That kind of shit. He doesn't do that, right? Maybe he should. Maybe he will eventually.
But the show's got just the crazy animation, like what we saw with Kill La Kill, and like this is really bendy, squashy, weirdy. Like when he jumps and punches, you see his whole torso like contort, and the fist like bends into the punch. It looks great.
They have to capture even in in highly pixelated stream rips, right? It looks great. So the real one probably looks even better. But the manga, I think actually compared to the first episode, I think the manga actually does a better job of like conveying the epicness of punching something one time, right? And it's mostly because the bad guys start escalating, and it's like he punches, in episode 1 of the anime,
Crablante.
he punched Crablante once. Well, and didn't actually even punch Crablante, right? He killed him using a different method.
Yeah, pulling his entire viscera system out of his body through his eye socket.
Yeah. But he punched quite that giant guy once.
Oh, yeah.
He punched some other guys once, right? But when he starts punching like the real bad guys once, and you start seeing like, when all the other heroes start showing up and all these other characters, you sort of get the relativity aspect of it comes into play, where it's like the most powerful hero on Earth is like, like Superman basically is like having a tough time, and then One Punch Man punches that bad guy once.
Well, it's got this nice idea of escalation, which a lot of like the indie comics and the kinds of things we like, if you see enough tropes and you see enough stories, you start to get to the point where you want to see like the culmination of that kind of story. Like this is the culmination of the superhero story. What if you had the literally invincible, all-powerful, well, at least all-powerful in terms of beating bad guys guy? Like push it all the way to the end,
right? But
and see what kind of story
But
you
to
have.
make it interesting, right? It's interesting because of the character that he is, right? Is while he's super powerful, punch everyone once and they die. It's like he's really sort of bored. Like he wants a super awesome fight to be an awesome hero and have fun with it, but like he's not having fun with it. He just punches everyone once and it's over. And he's like, oh God, this is so boring.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Meanwhile,
like he escaped the life of, looking for a job. He gave up on that because it sucks so much. Now he's got this hero job and it sucks just as much because he's so good at it.
But meanwhile, like D in Vampire Hunter
I can
D,
really relate to that. Like at work, I type everything once and then it's boring.
one type man.
I'm one type
Touch
man.
the keyboard once, the problem's solved.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah. But like D, because I watched some old Vampire Hunter D again recently. There's a midnight screening of it at a local theater too.
Okay.
He is just as like it's the same as One Punch Man, except it's like one sword slash man. He just wins every fight automatically because he's Alucard.
But Alucard doesn't have the same personality.
Well,
as
no,
Saitama.
D has no personality and gives zero fucks about anything. He just wins. Every fight is, oh, D, I've beaten you. Nope.
Yeah, there's no. That's another thing is that there's no suspense of, is usually when there's a fighting story, right?
Well, like Initial D. At the end, like we talked about this when we reviewed it, even in episode 25, when you know he's going to win because he wins every fucking race, Itsuki's like, I don't think he's going to win it this time. And you're like, well, what if he doesn't? I mean, that car is real fast.
Yeah, but there's no suspense in One Punch Man if Saitama is going to get hurt or injured or die. It's like you just accept the fact that he's invincible. Like he doesn't, once you see him get like ridiculously like punched a zillion times and like he's unharmed, like not even a scratch, it's like, oh, okay. And you don't even like, you're never concerned that anything, like Kenshiro sometimes is like, oh shit, is he going to lose to this guy who's actually really powerful?
Yeah, the shonen
and he gets
trope.
hurt. He gets hurt. I mean, he's got those 7 scars in his chest for a reason, right?
The shonen fighting trope is to make the character actually invincible, but continue to escalate to trick you into doubting for a second that he's going to make it.
Right.
But then he makes it in the end anyway.
There's no question that he's going to make it, right? It's just a lot of the suspense is like, when is he going to punch him? Is he going to punch him? Is this guy so strong that the punch won't work? You're never worried about Saitama being hurt.
So
ever.
it skips like every trope of a shonen show.
Well, but there's also other characters such as the awesome cyborg sidekick who can get hurt, right? And it's like, are those people going to get hurt? Is he going to save them in time? Those sorts of things are still coming to play a little bit.
Well, I mean, I like how it's City A and then everyone moved to City B because City A got destroyed in
It
the
just
fight.
doesn't hold back, right? It just, it doesn't even bother trying to hide like the shonen structure, right? By making it, in Dragon Ball, they're like power level 9,000, right? Where they're trying to hide it a little bit, right? One Punch Man doesn't even try to hide it. They're like, let us form a structure of shonen leveling up that we will now is easily translated into video games, but is a parody because we're making it so explicit.
It's almost a deconstruction.
But it's not. It is the perfect construction. It is not. It is when it you can't deconstruct something by
one
being
could
the
say
thing.
the struggle is everything but the battle.
By making the perfect example of a thing, you are not deconstructing that thing. You are simply constructing
would you
the
say it's
best
perfect,
possible
though?
example of that
It's
thing.
not perfect because the perfect example does all those other tropes and goes through the cycle of doubt and belief and doubt and belief. It's going beyond the cycle. It's going past all that to all the other stuff.
There
that
comes a
typically-
point where you can't tell the difference between parody and the real thing, and that is what One Punch Man is. It is at the pinnacle of it. You cannot possibly go any higher onto the top of Mount Everest when the pointy bit is in your asshole. That is the end of the line.
That pointy bit is where either the best or the worst media are.
This is the best one.
Yep.
But, the worst one could be right alongside it because 2 people can be on the point at the same time if they can stand on like one atom of pointiness on their toe or something.
But then you get into quantum physics and causality.
Whatever.
and-
But yeah, if you care anything about anime at all, even if you don't care about anime and maybe you've thought about all those other anime we've mentioned, you don't need to watch all those. Just watch/read One Punch Man and you will not need to see any other punches, or watch any other shonen animes, or read any other shonen mangas. This is the one. We don't need anyone to make any more. If you're writing one right now, just throw it in the garbage. Work on some shoujo or something. In fact, make the shoujo like One Kiss Girl or something. Because I want to read that.
I would read that. I would watch that.
And then I want to see the mashup: One Kiss Girl, One Punch Man.
I looked. No one has drawn fan art of One Punch Man and Big O with the second punch, tier 2 punch.
At least you haven't found such.
I just searched
fan
for
art.
like 5 minutes and couldn't find it.
Well, search in Japanese.
But seriously, while you should watch this show, just wait for it to be out legit because
It'll be out legit so soon.
the non-legit
Next
version,
month is going to be the month of One Punch Man comes to America and punches every anime fan right in the junk. Whatever kind of junk you got, it's getting punched.
when he punches that one
And it's only going to
subterranean,
take once.
he definitely punches him right in the dick.
Oh, yeah.
Like right in the dick.
I mean, why not? If you didn't punch him right in the dick, that show would be a slight step lower on the Mount Everest.
So yeah, hopefully we'll have a bunch of Geeknights episodes up. We're going to trickle them out to you. We're going to record as many as we can before I fly. And starting in October, we'll actually be back in town doing our normal stuff. And we're going to start ramping up video production of things. So stay tuned. This has been Geeknights with Rym and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night. You're not as loud as you were before.
Bop. Bop.
Might be even too quiet.
Bop. Bop.